Part 35. Reminiscences continued. Beowulf's last battle. He seeks then his chamber, singeth a woe song, one for the other. All too extensive seemed homesteads and plains. So the helm of the Weders, mindful of Herebold, heart sorrow carried, stirred with emotion, nowise was able to wreak his ruin on the ruthless destroyer. He was unable to follow the warrior with hatred, with deeds that were direful, though dear he not held him. Impressed by the pang this pain occasioned him, he gave up glee, godlight elected. He left to his sons, as the man that is rich does, his land and fortress, when from life he departed. Then was crime and hostility twixt Swedes and Geatmen, or wide-stretching water warring was mutual, burdensome hatred, when Hrethel had perished, and Ongentheo's offspring were active and valiant, wished not to hold to peace over sea, but round Hresnaber often accomplished cruelest massacre. This my kinsman avenged, the feud and fury, as 'tis found on inquiry, though one of them paid it with forfeit of life joys, with price that was hard. The struggle became then fatal to Hethsin, lord of the Geatmen. Then I heard that at morning one brother the other with edges of irons egged on to murder, where Ongentheo maketh onset on Eofor. The helmet crashed, the hoary-haired Skilfing sword-smitten fell. His hand then remembered feud hate sufficient, refused not the death blow. The gems that he gave me, with jewel-bright sword, I quited in contest, as occasion was offered. Land he allowed me, life, joy at homestead, manor to live on. Little he needed from Gepids or Danes or in Sweden to look for trooper less true, with treasure to buy him. 'Mong foot soldiers ever in front I would hie me, alone in the vanguard, and ever more gladly warfare shall rage. While this weapon endureth that late and early often did serve me, when I proved before heroes the slayer of Dafrin, knight of the Hughmen. He by no means was suffered to the king of the Frisians to carry the jewels, the breast decoration, but the banner possessor bowed in the battle, brave-mooded atheling. No weapon was slayer, but war grapple broke then the surge of his spirit, his body destroying. Now shall weapon's edge make war for the treasure, and hand and firm sword. Beowulf spake then, boast words uttered, the latest occasion. I braved in my youth days battles unnumbered, still am I willing the struggle to look for, famed deeds perform, folk warden prudent, if the hateful despoiler forth from his cavern seeketh me out. Each of the heroes, helm-bearers sturdy, he thereupon greeted beloved co-liegemen, his last salutation. No brand would I bear, no blade for the dragon, wist I away my word boast accomplish, else would the monster, as with Grendel I did it. But fire in the battle hot I expect there, furious flame burning. So I fixed on my body target in war mail. The ward of the barrow I'll not flee from a foot length, the foeman uncanny. At the wall 'twill befall us as fate decreeth, each one's creator. I am eager in spirit, with the winged war hero to away with all boasting. Bide on the barrow with Byrnies protected, earls in armour, which of us two may better bear his disaster when the battle is over. 'Tis no matter of yours, and man cannot do it, but me and me only, to measure his strength with the monster of malice, might deeds to accomplish. I with prowess shall gain the gold, or the battle, direful death woe will drag off your ruler. The mighty champion rose by his shield then, brave under helmet. In battle mail went he 'neath steep rising stone cliffs, the strength he relied on of one man alone, no work for a coward. Then he saw by the wall, who a great many battles had lived through, most worthy, when foot troops collided, stone arches standing, stout-hearted champion, saw a brook from the barrow bubbling out thenceward. The flood of the fountain was fuming with war flame, not nigh to the horde, for season the briefest could he brave, without burning, the abyss that was yawning, the drake was so fiery. The prince of the waiters caused then that words came from his bosom, so fierce was his fury. The firm-hearted shouted, his battle-clear voice came in resounding 'neath the grey-coloured stone. Stirred was his hatred, the horrid ward distinguished the speech of a man. Time was no longer to look out for friendship. The breath of the monster issued forth first, vapory war sweat out of the stone cave. The earth re-echoed. The earl 'neath the barrow lifted his shield, lord of the Geatmen, towered the terrible stranger. The ring-twisted creature's heart was then ready to seek for a struggle. The excellent battle-king first brandished his weapon, the ancient heirloom of edges unblunted. To the death planners twain was terror from other. The lord of the troopers intrepidly stood then 'gainst his high-rising shield, when the dragon coiled him quickly together. In corslet he bided. He went then in blazes, bended and striding, hasting him forward. His life and body the targ well protected, for time period shorter than wish demanded for the well-renowned leader, where he then for the first day was forced to be victor, famous in battle, as fate had not willed it. The lord of the Geatmen uplifted his hand then, smiting the fire drake with sword that was precious, that bright on the bone the blade edge did weaken, bit more feebly than his folk leader needed, burdened with bale griefs. Then the barrow protector, when the sword blow had fallen, was fierce in his spirit, flinging his fires, flamings of battle gleamed then afar. The gold friend of waiters boasted no conquest, his battle sword failed him naked in conflict, as by no means it ought to, long trusty weapon. 'Twas no slight undertaking, that Ecgtheow's famous offspring would leave the Drake cavern's bottom. He must live in some region other than this, by the will of the dragon, as each one of earthman existence must forfeit. 'Twas early thereafter the excellent warriors met with each other. Anew and afresh the horrid war took heart, gasps heaved then his bosom. Sorrow he suffered, encircled with fire, who the people erst governed. His companions by no means were banded about him, bairns of the princes, with valorous spirit, but they sped to the forest, seeking for safety. The soul deeps of one were ruffled by care. Kin-love can never aught in him waver, who well doth consider.